Hi, this is Sally Vartuli. I'm going to be presenting on some of the basics of WeVideo. So to get started, you're going to want to make sure you go to wevideo.com and you can log in, usually with Google. And this is the interface of WeVideo. So some things across the top you can see, you can create a new video, recording, GIF, podcast. You can see my recent projects that I'm working on right now. And then you've also got some tabs across the very top that say dashboard, projects, media, exports, groups. So the first thing is you're going to want to make sure that you use the upgrade code. Email me or email John Luthringer to get the upgrade code for WeVideo if you're interested in that. And I can send that to you and walk you through how to upgrade your account so that you get some of the free stock footage and images and fancier transitions and music selections. But if we were going to get started, I do want to show you real quick. There's a couple things right here. For example, you've got get the teacher guide and join a group or class. So you can create a group or a class and then send the code out to your students and they can jump right on and you guys can edit videos together. So it's nice that WeVideo works in a collaborative way, just like Google. You can also go to groups across the top right here. And if you want to create your own group, so say you have some students working in a group or you want to create a group with your students, you just hit the little plus right here, create the group, and then you can invite your other members. So that's a great collaborative tool of WeVideo. If you begin a project and then you want to start with a student, start collaborating with a student, which I've actually had students do that to me with me when we were virtual. They needed some help finishing the video, so they would start the project and then share the rights with me in order to get into WeVideo and edit their video. It's not on the dashboard. So say you started a project, you go to projects, you find whatever the project is called, select it, and then up here on the right hand side you will see invite to project. So that's where you want to select invite to project and put that person's email in, and you can see over here on the right hand side which ones are my personal and which ones are collaborative. So lots of really good tools for working with other people and students on this. Okay, so if I was going to start, say for example, a template, that's kind of nice. I go to award ceremony and they have lots of other templates, but I just want to show you this briefly. I'm going to hit start editing. And it appears what happened with this is I think a teacher who recorded herself and she's presenting an award ceremony virtually. So you could essentially put your video right here over hers and then add pictures over the top of this. And how would that look if I were to go to some random folder I have and choose a picture? Say this was my student's picture that I wanted to add in, or this one, I can drag and drop right over top on the timeline of that picture, and you can see that it's updated it, and then I can just go here and hit the little pencil icon, and I can change whatever the caption says. So I would click right here and change it to whatever I want it to read, and then hit save changes. Okay, so those templates are great. I'm gonna go back for a minute though and show you how a new video works. All right, so I'm gonna hit create new and then video. Let's get started, start editing. And you can see down here, we've got timeline tracks at the bottom, video 1, video 2, audio 1. You can always add or take away tracks. So you can see this little plus sign, that's to add an audio or a video track. Why would you need more than that? If you wanna get fancy, for example, with audio, and you have a song playing with your video, but you also wanna add in your voice or a voiceover, you would need another audio track, one for the voiceover and one for the song. As well as when it comes to video tracks, if you have your video that you want to overlay on the top of like some pictures, or for example you recorded yourself doing a tutorial on the video and you want your face over the top, that's what the multiple video tracks are for. And those are just a couple examples. You can switch your timeline mode if you want to. So let's see, what's this? Snaps, no, that's not what we want. If you go up here to the little hamburger, and then down to the bottom, it says switch to storyboard. If you click on that, you can see now the timeline has changed to a more visual representation of what your clips will look like. And you can see here's a theme, here's your music, here's where you would add a voiceover, and you would just drag and drop whatever clips you have right into the timeline. And they kind of snap together. So if you are just starting with WeVideo and that's what you feel comfortable using, I would recommend using that. I have never really liked that because I was never taught on a storyboard timeline. I've always used timeline. So I'm going to go back to switch to timeline. I just wanted you to know that if you are more of a visual learner and you're just starting out, the storyboard timeline can be a good option for editing. Okay. So the first thing is you want to know, how do you get your footage into WeVideo, or how do I start with some video footage or pictures or whatever you want to do. The first thing is, if you go to stock media at the top and you've used the upgrade code that you can get from John Luthringer, there's a ton of stock footage and pictures that you can choose from right here that are copyright free that you can throw into your video. So say you want your students to put together a promotional video on a new business that they are creating, and the business has to do is a family restaurant. So if I type in restaurant, you've got tons of footage that you can actually bring right down into the timeline and edit together. Okay. So I'm going to hit play. Space on the keyboard, by the way, is play. Okay. And that goes for videos and pictures. So if I wanted to use this little filter icon right next to the search bar, refine search, I can select whether I want videos, photos, graphics, motion graphics, music, audio loops, or sound effects. So all that stuff you can search for. So that's really nice. I think that this title may have already been in here because I started using a theme, but just so you know, the title's right here. And when you want to edit something in the timeline to say something other than sample title, by the way, you would hover over the little hamburger, go to the pencil icon, and your editing window appears. So that's where I would go up here to where it says sample title, select it and delete, and then change the title to whatever I want it to say. Now you can also change your font style right here, bold, italics, underline, change the color, the alignment, and the size. And then when you're happy with it, just hit save changes at the bottom, and you can see it has updated in my preview window. So if I wanted to add maybe some transitions in between my videos and pictures, let me just throw a few more down here. I would go to the transitions tab up the top, and you've got over here 2 different categories, standard and additional. So say I wanted a crossfade, and it gives you a preview of what it looks like. If I like that, I'm just going to click hold drag. And then once I see that it's green, notice up here it's red because there's nothing to place that transition on. So once you're hovering right over the clips, it turns green. And then you can drop it, and you can see that it's right in between those 2 clips, and I can hit play and kind of watch the transition. Okay, so there's lots of different transitions that you can choose from. Also, when you're editing in WeVideo, if you are zoomed way in or way out on the timeline, so bottom right here, this is your zoom option. So I just zoomed way in, and now I'm going to zoom way out. If you have tiny little pictures, like if you have pictures that only show for half a second, and then you click on it, you may not always see the little hamburger that appears in the top left corner of the clip on the timeline, the one that you see right now with the pencil and transition effects and the garbage can. So sometimes you need to actually zoom in. Use this over here to zoom in. And then once this finally appears, you can hit the little pencil and you can edit your timeline. Okay. How would I cut a clip? If I wanted to add in a clip and there were some footage at the beginning and the end that I don't want to keep, what you can do for that is you can just kind of move your position indicator where you want to cut the clip, and you can either hit S on the keyboard or you can hit the little scissors. Okay, so that clip wasn't selected at the time that I moved it there, which means I don't have the option to hit the scissors, so sometimes you also have to make sure you select the clip on the timeline. Now you can see the option is available and I can hit split. And then I could take this and move it, or I could just hit backspace or delete and now it's gone. So that is going to be cutting your clips. If you want to add some text, there's lots of really good templates for text. In WeVideo, you've got motion. So these are going to be ones that have a sort of animation. And if you hover over them, I haven't added them to the timeline yet, but I'm just previewing it over here on the right hand side. You've got motion, you've got static. That means they're going to stand still. Well, so they're gonna be stationary and there's no animation. In season, these are kind of like holiday special call out templates. And then there's call outs. So sometimes this helps if you're creating a tutorial and you want to point something out to your student. You could use, for example, this arrow. Say I wanted to lay it right over top of this clip. Now you can see that is right on top of the video clip. And I can also go in and adjust it and move it. So hit the little pencil icon on the timeline and I can move it wherever I want, each point. So that kind of helps if you're doing a tutorial and you want to point something out. Okay. And then there's theme. So just a couple, title and ending. So back to motion. If I want a caption over top of my picture, I can put it, just drag and drop. That's why you need to have those two video tracks so that you can have the video underneath and then the title over top. Okay. And again, if I wanted to edit that, you're going to go up to the little hamburger on top of that clip on the timeline and go to the pencil icon. And then you can see this is where it says in a whisper. That's just like the template from the program. We're going to change this to whatever we want it to say. And again, you've got the option right here to change the font size, the font style, and you can also grab it right here and move it wherever you want. You can also bring it up, scale it down, rotate it, flip it, whatever you want to do. Then hit save changes when you're happy with it. And now we have a caption. Other things you can do is you can add simple transitions into your captions, your video clips. If you hover over the clip, the second icon that pops up across the top, the clip editor, is a diagonal line with 2 points. It says open opacity options. If I click on that, you can see this opacity window that appears and it says fade and then in and out. So if I select fade, you can see now down here on the picture, we've got a 1 second fade in and a 1 second fade out. And that's just going to be from black. So it's just your standard transition. Fade in. And then I can also adjust that if I want to by selecting, dragging this up, down, wherever you want to put it. Same thing with, like I said, the titles. You can also go up to your little hamburger for your editor bar, go to the diagonal line, select fade, and then you've got fade in and fade out for the title as well. Gives it kind of a smooth touch, okay? All right, so that's text. Text is pretty simple. Audio, we're just working from left to right across the top. You've got different categories over here: free music, sound effects, and premium music. You are not going to have premium music or sound effects, I don't think. Maybe just a select few of sound effects if you don't use the upgrade code, which is fine if you're just getting started. But if you want a library full of some more options, you're going to want to use the upgrade code. Okay, so if you click on a song or a sound effect, it'll preview it for you, and you've got lots of different categories for sound effects as well. and you can just drag and drop right down into the timeline. I really don't like that one, that's annoying. All right, so I'm going to drag that right down, drag and drop. You can only drop it when it's green. And then I could also hit the plus right here in the top left and add another video track. So if I use my scroll right here, oh, sorry, I did the wrong thing. I wanted to add an audio track. It's right here at the bottom. I could also add things like sound effects right over the top. Okay, and then you would hear the song playing with the sound effect, or like I said, if you had a voiceover and you wanted to add that in, you could do that as well. And you can actually record a voiceover right within WeVideo if you want to do that also. So if I go over here to my media, okay, select my media, you'll see this is where you actually bring in footage. Record is where, record or narrate is where you can actually do a recording, or you can add a voiceover and narrate, but you're going to need a recording headset to do that as well. Using your own footage. So say you did a tutorial on your computer and you did a screencast and you want to bring that into WeVideo. You're going to go over here to import. Same thing with footage you may have captured on your cell phone. So for example, when we were virtual in the spring, I had a lot of my students record things with their cell phones, and then they would import it into WeVideo and edit that way. Now, WeVideo is also an app you can get on your phone. So if you want to edit on your phone, you can certainly do that with WeVideo as well. I'm not crazy about the app on the phone. I just like having my timeline laid out, and obviously it's limited with the view that you're looking at on your phone, but that definitely works just fine. So you have that as an option as well. So I would hit browse to select once I go to import, and then you need to find whatever footage you're looking for. So you can see you've got videos, my files, downloads, Google Drive. You can even import right from Google Drive. So if I went to Google Drive and then, let's see, got some pictures here, some videos. I can even search, I believe. So here's some clips. I'm just going to double click. Oh, it was selecting the whole thing. So if I go to video, I can just, select whatever I wanted to add. Or I can even go to images and then hit open, and you can see that it's added right here in your window, and then you can just drag and drop wherever you want it on your timeline. Okay, so that's importing your footage. You just need to be really organized about where you keep it when you're ready to import it. I usually like to put it on my desktop if I'm working at school on my desktop. If I'm working on my Chromebook, I like to make sure that it's usually in my download files. That seems to be the easiest way for me to find it. Google Drive can get confusing because I just have so much stuff on my drive. So we've done text, we've done audio, transitions we've gone over. Like I said, you can add a bunch of these. You have to make sure that when you add transitions, so if you're adding transitions between pictures or clips, you want to make sure that these clips are obviously touching. If it's like that, the transition is not going to work. Okay, so it's going to be red. So you want to make sure that the clips are touching, and then you can add in whatever transition you want. Backgrounds. So this can be kind of cool for adding titles over the top. And I don't think I've gone over this with you guys yet, but when you're in WeVideo, whatever is on the highest track, that is the order of events that you will see things in. So video track number 3 right now will kind of trump out everything behind it. So, or below it, I should say. So if I put that over top and then hit play, you can see that I cannot see the clip behind it, all right? So color keying is usually a good thing with this, because if I had a student or myself that I filmed in front of the green screen, I could use the color keying option right here to put yourself right in front of that background. Okay, so you can do that, and you can also add a caption right over top of that. So if I go to text, so I put it down here on the video check number 2 because I want the text to see over top of the background to be seen. And then I can drag this right over the top, and now you can see that that will appear just like that with the text over the top of that. So backgrounds can be good for things like that. You just have to make sure you layer them in the right order. So some cool backgrounds, solids, solid background colors, overlays, frames. Yeah, so some decent things that you can do. I believe we went over themes. If you wanted to do a theme, sometimes that helps with picture slideshows. If I wanted to hit use this theme if I like it, and then what it does is it kind of applies those filters that you saw on top of all of the pictures and video that are already in the track, and then the theme music down at the bottom. So I would actually recommend, if you're going to go with a theme, I would get all your clips and your pictures in the timeline first and then add the theme, because it doesn't always apply to all of them. If I've found in the past, if you're adding them in after you choose the theme, so just keep that in mind. Um, Hopefully I answered most of your questions. WeVideo can be a really powerful tool for video editing, especially when you're trying to edit on a Chromebook or your phone and we're virtual or at home. It is a good option. So again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My email is sfartuli@queensburyschool.org. I can give you the upgrade code if that's what you're looking for. I can also help you set up groups that you may want to do with your students as like a project for them to work on videos, or just your own video that you're working on. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.